Hey guys, welcome back to the Blue Milk Boys channel. It's been a busy last couple of weeks. It's been a little bit since we've been on, but I am excited for this episode and the things that we have to show you. I'm drunk.
And I'm iJedi. And basically, this video, we're going to walk through. Our friend Chappy invited us over to catalog his entire Lego collection. So you're seeing kind of a brief overview. What we do, or what we did, is we kind of broke down each kit and kind of gave a little bit of history. So if you see something on here that you like, you'll find out all of the information about that kit in a little while. So
I think it's going to be super fun. A lot of these sets were pre-released in the 90s and then re-released later on, or they're bits and pieces of the sets that were released in the 90s, obviously having lost some of the pieces. Chappy's putting them together as best he can. And then some of them are his own creation, what you might know as a mock or my own creation. They're obviously a hawk in this case because they're not mine, they're his. Um, but I think it's going to be a blast. It was definitely nostalgic shooting this video because this is what I grew up with. And man, is it cool to just see some of the old designs of the Legos and be filled with those memories and those feelings that I had growing up playing with some of these sets. We hope you enjoy what we got for you. If you have any comments, please leave them below to make us better. We always like to improve. Otherwise, enjoy the video and enjoy
So this
the
is the
commentary.
Black Seas Barracuda that was originally released in 1989 and has been redone by Lego in 2020. More technically, this set was called the Pirates of Barracuda Bay. And as a kid, I'd always wanted the original 1989 Barracuda, which was set number 6285. Today, I think brand new, that original set goes for 4 digits, like it's in the thousands of dollars. We got this for the kids because we knew that they would enjoy lots of play hours, but it's essentially two sets in one. As it's configured in the box on the cover, it's supposed to be a shipwrecked island, and that island can then also be configured as the ship itself. And so what we did is we took apart two options and made it so that the traditional good guys or the Imperial soldiers have control of this ship, which then gives the opportunity for the pirates to come and to take over and steal it from them. The original one came in this same gold furniture with the red flaps where the cannons go under the deck. The same red sails were part of the original one, and it's just a beautiful set. It's really fun. It took a while to build, but it was worth it because of the detail that Lego put into it. And I believe it's one of Lego's better sets, honestly.
What's your favorite part of this build? What was your guys' funnest part?
Yeah, I would say probably some of the interior of it, and we can zoom in on specifically the stern of the ship where the captain's quarters are. There's just a lot of neat little details in there that make it fun for the kids to tinker around with. The sails were pretty challenging to get right. You know, you want to make them pop, and just having the patience because it is over 2,500 pieces. It takes some time.
Yeah, definitely a big set. I think after what we'll do is once we stop recording for today, we'll take some pictures of the inside and we'll just flash those for the viewers later.
Yeah,
so that's super awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. This is the separate portion of the Pirates of Barracuda Bay. When the ship is distinct from it, this is what it looks like. Although we did add to it to make it more playable and more fun, we added that ship hull that you see there in the middle where that pirate woman is standing with the broom. And then we also added a little bit on the top structure where it has kind of turned into sort of like a restaurant or just a place for the pirates to hang out and relax. And this is really the core of Pirates of Barracuda Bay because it symbolizes where they were shipwrecked. And one of the cool things about this piece is if you look here in the sand, there's built this defeated version of the Islanders, which is a callback, of course, to the mid-90s theme that the Pirates had going, the Islanders sets. and that is a part of their statue that just remains there in the sand and has been occupied now completely by these pirates. Captain Redbeard is there, and a few others.
I think that's super cool because that Islander set is actually like that statue. I believe is in one of the older Islander sets that I owned growing up. It was like 95, 96 when I got the set. So that is super cool. And the Islander set is actually one of my favorite ones, just having the tiki men there and like the spears and obviously the alligators and stuff that went in that set. That's super cool.
Yeah. And we'll look at some of those a little bit later. I will note that some of these minifigures did not come with the Pirates of Barracuda Bay. We've added them. That center minifigure with the large curly hair is actually from the newest Lego minifigure series. I think they're from series 27. And she has that distinct kind of pirate look. And so we bought her from the Lego store and added her to this because it was a nice addition. But
now, did the broom come with this set?
No, the broom was an added thing as well.
No way.
Yeah, we try to add.
Really piratey.
Well, someone's got to swab the decks, you know. So.
Yeah. Cool.
So this is set 10320. It was released in 2023. It's the re-release of the El Dorado Fortress, which originally came out in 1989, which was set 6276. This was an impulse buy. I saw it at the Lego store, and I never had the original El Dorado Fortress as a kid. I had always wanted it, and I just grabbed it off the shelf and said, "Honey, we are taking this home, and the kids will love it." And she kind of rolled her eyes, but it's been probably my all-time favorite Lego set because of how nostalgic it is. All the callbacks to the late 80s set, and just the playability of it. The kids have a ton of fun with it. It's one of the modular sets, so it comes apart, and it's complex and detailed, but also really kind of aesthetically beautiful to look at. Comes with the ship and a bunch of minifigures and all kinds of little Easter eggs here and there. So we can pull it apart and take a look at it if you want.
What is your favorite feature of this individual kit?
I think if you go the other way, probably the textured little runway that they're going up with all those cobblestones. That was a lot of fun to build. And in the original, it didn't have that. It was just a flat piece of plastic on a raised base plate.
Okay.
And putting that together was enjoyable. And I think that's probably the most technically my favorite part. But the way it comes apart and lays out into one panorama of a set is also pretty neat, because then I can have battles with my son, you know, the pirate ship versus these Imperial soldier guys. So this is Imperial Flagship, set 6271, came out in 1992. When I was a kid, this was probably my favorite pirate set that I had. It was really the only of the larger ships, the only one I had. Like I said, I didn't have the Black Seas Barracuda, and this one really scratched that itch for me. I've rebuilt it a number of times since I was a kid. I'm thankful that the sails are still in good condition. We've added some things over the years with, you know, just kind of a variation of different colors. You can see some of the brown ridges on the bow of the ship and some of the gold furniture near the stern. Not all of that is original, but the intent is to create and to have fun with the kids and also get a little bit of nostalgia from it. But yeah, this was a lot of fun to build, and I think some of your viewers, it'll be nostalgic for them because it's not one of the new pirate sets that we've shown earlier, but this is one of those actual vintage early 90s callbacks. So yeah, Imperial Flagship, what a set. So this is a combination of a vintage Islander set seen on the right-hand side, which was called Forbidden Coves, set 6264, came out in 1994. As a kid, I never had any of the larger Islanders sets, but I was walking through a Goodwill one time, and I found that base plate that you see over there on the left, and it was 25 cents, and I snagged it, and over the years collected gray pieces and, you know, platform plates and these kinds of things, as well as added to the minifigure collection of the Islanders. And we decided one day we were just going to build a really tall kind of tower for these Islanders to have a good view of the ocean. And so it's a combination of kind of a mock, right, of my own creation with a vintage set there. It's a lot of fun. It's got that gnarly prison in the front that opens up. They've got a cannon there to try and defend themselves, and then a couple of alligators that patrol and provide that reptilian support.
This was one of my more favorite sets, is the one with the Islanders, just because of the shield, and then you've got that gnarly helmet, that red helmet for the chiefs or the protectors with different feathers or bones on top of it. And then there's several that have that similar, like I know that you guys kind of created that on your own, but have that similar style. Like jail.
The way the jail was, I more or less stole that from Lego because they had designed that style of a prison, and I wanted to make it look similar. Some of those spears are from my old castle sets from the 90s.
Yeah, I wish I could find all my old ones. It's just such a cool set. I think the thing I like about it is all the different style bridges that you can build. They had the trap doors that your guys could fall into or could trigger. Obviously, the alligators and the sharks were super cool to play around with. That's super cool.
The variation of colors gets me too, because this was when Lego didn't have a ton of green in their sets, but by the mid 90s they started to introduce more of that with the foliage and the palm trees and that kind of thing, and it just looks really cool. I'm thankful for it. So from left to right are just a few mocks that we did. A small little pirate island with a little bit of treasure on it. It's sort of a callback to those early pirate sets that were released, which I think Lego should still do. Make a pirate line with little sets that become more accessible with the fun things like the minifigures and the treasure without paying $200 or $300 for some large set. And that was the intent, was just to make something like that from back in the day. The middle thing is a bridge with a staircase, and it's meant to look like some kind of outpost ruins that the pirates have taken over that had formerly belonged to the Imperial Guards. And then the one on the right is based on the Islanders. It came similar to that in one of the Islander sets that had that large base plate that we saw earlier. But like I said, I never had that set, but I had some of the pieces to make that statue / prison. This is a combination of sets and custom, creations. The blue ship in the back is a bit of a custom ship. It was originally a castle ship, and I can't even remember the set number or name. But that blue boat, I did not retain all the pieces for, and so I converted it from essentially a castle ship into a pirate theme. And those guys are kind of a 4-man special operations pirate unit. And then that centerpiece was based on the Volcano Island set, which came out in the mid-90s. It was set 6248. I never had the original Volcano Island, but over the years I had the right pieces for it, so we put one together that's similar to that. That one you see there with the Islander manning the ship and the skeleton fighting him, that's a custom design. And it's a ship that has a sail that we basically made out of cloth. I burnt the ends of it so that it would look kind of worn and used. And then that's the sail with the skull and crossbones, the Jolly Roger there. That is an actual set that was called Raft Raiders, set 6261. And I had that when I was a kid. It was 92 when that came out. But this kind of completes the pirate collection. And when they're all together on the table, they look really great. And they're a lot of fun for me and the little ones to play with.
Is that your...
So this collection represents a series that Lego released that was pretty sought after in the early 90s. It was called the Wolf Pack, and they were sort of a subgenre of the castle theme. And as a kid, I had the Wolf Pack Tower, which was set 6075, came out in 92. And what you see here is meant to be a beefed up, larger version of the Wolf Pack Tower. And so that whole thing, top to bottom, there is a creation of our own. It took us a few months to piece it together over time, but we tried to make it as sturdy and as playable as possible. And so the front drawbridge goes up and down. The center dungeon also lifts up and down. And then on the rear of the fortress, there's a cave which has a bunch of skeleton minifigures and sort of ghoulish, kind of creepy things that is to symbolize where sort of the darker spirits of this castle live, I guess. We added a witch in there for her to make some meals for the boys when they're, out raiding the peasants. And then the smaller sets that you see in the front over those green base plates, those were mine as a kid from the Wolfpack series. I don't remember the titles of them all, but I do know that I got a lot of hours out of those as a kid. One of them has that glow in the dark ghost that you can see there in the middle. If you light him up and then hold him in a dark room, he still to this day glows pretty good. Anyway, these are a representation of kind of the new Wolfpack guys that were released recently by Lego. Just the minifigures, they haven't put out a set. And then the old Wolfpack guys, which are represented there in the smaller sets that you see. A lot of fun. So this is a mock of the Forestmen, which were pretty popular in the 90s. As a kid, I didn't really have any Forestmen sets. So over the years, I pieced together a bunch of the minifigures and decided to use some of the gray pieces that we have to build this castle for them. It's got a jail up front where they can capture the Wolfpack guys. It's got a couple kid minifigures there, and then a whole slew of other Forestmen, the guy on the horse and the guy rappelling there from the rope. There's even an opportunity for the castle itself to fold together, and so it's modular in a sense. It can be all together and enclosed, or you can open it up and see the interior of the castle with various rooms and ladders and places to sleep or cook. One of those guys is taking a shot at a target with his bow and arrow, and they also have the opportunity to do a little firecraft there and chop wood and make a fire, staying warm in the forest of wherever.
All right, Chappy, thank you very much for showing us your own creations, as well as a lot of those other sets. Obviously very nostalgic for the three of us being able to see the medieval sets along with some of the pirate sets. So it was super awesome to be able to go through those with you. I'm glad that you got to enjoy them with your kids, but thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thank you for coming over and checking them out. I enjoy the nostalgia of it. I hope that your viewers will get some nostalgia out of it as well, because there's a lot of fun memories associated with these bricks and with these types of minifigures and sets from back in the day. And I think many people will remember some of the sets that they had as well.
Nice.
Yeah, well, Chappy, thanks a lot. Hey guys, if you like this kind of content, please leave a comment down below. For any of the kits that we did show that are available for purchase, we'll go ahead and link it down in the video description. But don't forget, like the video, comment, subscribe. Please share it with any of your friends or family that might enjoy this type of content. And always remember to drink your blue milk
milk
and be excellent to each other.
Man, I messed that up.